Hi everybody, how's it going? Happy Wednesday night. Welcome to another Facebook Live. I'm Melissa Thomas, C2C Stamping, and I'm just going to make sure that I can see us over here on my laptop. So as comments come in, say hello. Let me know you're here. That would be awesome. Everybody, there we go. Now I can see. I'm coming to you a little bit live because we have another event going on later on tonight, and I want to make it over to that for demonstrators. They are doing some crafting over in a group that we have for demonstrators on Facebook, and I'm excited to go join that. So, hi Sharon. So just wanted to come live and kind of show you an idea that I saw. Hi Kirsten, on using the new Quite Curvy set. I also wanted to kind of show you a couple of other things that I'm working on. So I'll be putting out my newsletter over the weekend to talk a little bit about November and December and all of the classes and things that I have coming up. I will be doing the Advent calendar. We'll have that as a class. I have a fun wreath class that I'll be offering that uses old book pages, but you can also use comics if you have like comics that you want to use, or sheet music if you have some sheet music that you want to use. And then I have my card class, which is always the fourth Sunday of the month. And in November, it'll be for the gnomes. My card class is a lot of fun. We do 3 cards and a 3D project. Hi, Terry. The card class is free with a $35 order, or you can pay $15. I wanted to show you what we made this month to give you an idea of what we're making next month. So this was the 3D project. So this month we featured the Peace and Joy dies. So this was our 3D project, that cute little buffalo check moose. And then this was one of the cards. Very pretty. It's got some of those fun snowflakes. This was one of the cards. And this was the third card. So if you like my designs, if you've been coming on Wednesday nights to my Facebook Lives, I would really love to have you as a customer. So if you want to place an order for next month, I'll put out the hostess code this weekend. And I would love to have you. If you place a $35 order, then you can come to the class for free. If not, it's a $15 fee, and I mail the class to you. And then we all get on Zoom, and it's a lot of fun. So that'll be the 4th Sunday. I do have a Bring a Friend incentive. When you bring someone new to the class, then you get to, I send you like a package of goodies, all sorts of exciting goodies, including like papers and a tool and an embellishment usually. So it's definitely worth it to come to class, and it's definitely worth it to bring a friend. So I'd love to have you in class, and I just wanted to show you those. And then I have been working, we have access to a new suite from the spring catalog, and I have been working on some projects for my team who are coming to On Stage, and so I thought I'd show you a little sneak peek of some things from that suite, but that's all I'm going to show you, so you'll have to go back and look later, just a little sneak peek, but I'm really excited about the dragonflies. We haven't had a dragonfly stamp set in a while, and this has a coordinating punch, which is really cool. So, you know, I love punches. They make life a lot easier. And then I'm going to show you one thing at the end from Marianne, because, hi Lynn, because she kind of challenged me last week. She was like, hey, you know, have you ever made one of those exploding boxes? And I was like, no, I haven't. And I said, they look really complicated. And she's like, well, I want to make one. I'm like, all right, well. So we found a really good site that had some good measurements, and hi Sarah, and we did it, we tackled it, and so I'll show you what we made in a little bit, but I'm going to flip you around right now, and we're going to talk about Quite Curvy, and one of the fun dies in that set. So Quite Curvy is a stamp set and die that is available to customers starting next week, and Quite Curvy is a bundle, but then Curvy Christmas also coordinates. So we tackled Curvy Christmas a couple weeks ago. If you haven't seen the Curvy Christmas video, it's a little long because I make 2 cards from scratch based on a sketch. Today, I'm just going to do 1 card, and I'm mainly showing you how to use one of the dies in here. So the die set, and what I'll do is when I'm done, I'll post a picture later of the finished card. The die set features several of these edge type dies, and then it has large scale dies to cut out the greenery, right? It has 1 die for each of the little birdies because they're all very different and very cute. So, hi Priscilla, welcome. And then it has a little greenery sprig as well. But that's it. So, but this die, so this one has an edgelet. So we call that an edgelet because it'll cut the edge as well as die cut those pieces off. This one is an edgelet because it also cuts the edge off your piece, but it also puts that pattern in. This one is not an edgelet. And so I wanted to show you a cool way to use it. So we're going to take these 2 together. I'm sure I could use these independent of one another, but I'm going to use them together. And we're going to take a piece of foil paper. This is the brushed foil from the holiday catalog. And we're going to move some things around. So I'm going to get this to be a little bit smaller than a card front. So normally I would do, 4 1/4. So 4, so I'm going to do 3 3/4. No, I'm going to do 4. I want that to be nice and tight. Hopefully I've got enough. Ooh, look at that. That was just enough. All right. So I did 4, so I'll do 5 1/4. Okay. All right. So on this piece, what we're going to do is we're going to die cut the edge so you can see the edge, you can feel the edge. We're going to die cut the edge, and we're going to die cut kind of the coordinating swoop, I guess is the best way to define that. So we're going to die cut both of these pieces. Before we do that though, I'm going to cut a coordinating piece of this, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get enough of this out to kind of, so I can sandwich the 2 together. That looks tight, but let's see. So like that will need to come like right there. All right, so I'm going to take this over to the Big Shot. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got my swoop for this piece, which is good. I'll probably go like that. And we don't need this piece. And then I'm going to do a coordinating piece on here. You know, I could do this where I don't put this on and I don't swoop this. That might make life easier. Maybe I'll just do that. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to die cut this. And I want to show you, I've run it through once. This is an interesting die. So it Now all the leaves fall out. Ta-da! All right, so what we get is we get an impression of the vines, right? And we get all these cute little leaves that have fallen out. And you're like, well, what in the blazes? Like, am I going to do with this, right? Well, luckily, we've still got this piece to put up in the top, which is great. And so I'll probably, you know, glue that on there and trim that off the end. But what are we going to do with this? Now, we could just put a static piece of paper behind it, right? But I have a more fun idea. So I'm going to set these guys aside. I don't want to lose them, so I'm going to set them somewhere safe. And I have got a nice piece of our shimmery white cardstock. And I'm going to make sure that this is cut to probably the same size. So 4 by 5 1/4. So 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. And then I'm going to take some of my ink. So I'm going to get some shaded spruce ink. I'm going to take my ink pad and I'm going to squish it. And I got a little bit of the ink up in the top. That's good. And I've got our water painters. And I've got all of them filled. So let's see, which water painter do I want? I think I want the medium tip one. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to squeeze some water out into there. Hey Lynn, how's it going? All right. How many of you have used your ink pads like this? Like use them as a watercolor? I would love to know. All right, and then we need like a coordinating. I kind of want something with a little bit of excitement though. Ooh, Just Jade would be fun. Oh yeah, let's mix some Just Jade in there. That'll be a fun color addition. All right, so we'll squeeze some water in here. We'll squeeze some water in here. Oh, I just got that all over that. That's awesome. Okay, good. All right, so we kind of know we're going to have to get like a swoop in here. And we can come back and kind of hold this up and say, okay, you know, I need to. Now, this is going to look, this is like the best watercolor technique ever. Because what we're going to do with this one is we're not going to be precise at all. And we're actually trying to make it look super modeled and super crazy, which is kind of fun. Oh, so Just Jade, now that you add it in, you can see it has like some yellow. Okay, we're going to hold this up and we're going to see. Get some interesting color. There's not enough color variation between those two colors. They're too similar. So maybe we should add some pretty peacock. That'll give us something fun for contrast. All right, let's see. Let's get some pretty peacock in here. Oh, yes. Now we're talking. So I'm not going to do it everywhere, but maybe. And because this is wet, it'll like spread more easily. Okay, good. That looks nice and ugly. I have achieved my goal. All right. So I'm going to try to clean out my water painter just by, you know, continuously running it, right, and trying to wipe it. Normally I would just use a paper towel, but I don't have one with me, so I'm just using a baby wipe. But I'll clean that up, and then I think we should probably hit the front of this with our heat gun just so it flattens back up. So our shimmery white cardstock is made to take water. So if you've never used it, it's fun. All right. So that looks really ugly, but when we put this on top, ooh, and I like that there's even some that has a little bit of white. We could also adjust this a little bit, and we could kind of do that, right? And then that'll give us like all the different tones and colors that we want. So you can see that through there, right? We get some dark, we get some light, which is nice. And then we're going to put a few of those little leaves back on, which is great. So you would want to clean your ink pad before you close it. I don't have time for that right now. Cleaning is for crazy people. Okay, so it's time to confess. How many of you don't clean your stamps when you're done stamping? Admit it. Make me feel better. How many of you leave some ink on your stamps and walk away? Please tell me you do this. Please tell me I'm not the only person who does it. Okay, so I think I kind of have a position that I like. I don't see any of your comments. Are you guys commenting? Am I talking to myself? Tell me, please. Because, you know, there are days I wonder. So I'm using the Stampin' Seal Plus, which is kind of the more, you know, aggressive, heavy-duty adhesive, because this is this paper is all buckled because it's still wet. So you can tell it's still wet because it's cool to the touch. You know what a rule follower I am. Oh, I'm so glad, Lynn. I'm glad that you follow the rules and clean your stamps. I wish that I was more of a rule follower, but I'm not. Okay. So now we've got this really cute kind of variegated leaf pattern. We can take a few of these leaves and we can add them back. And we can kind of decide, you know, do we want to, you know, do we want to put some that go back into the hole, or do we want to have, like, for instance, this one, you know, is that one that I want to just put back in? So maybe, you know, there's one that I want to put back in. And I'm just going to use a glue dot to stick them back in. I'm not sure that that's actually where that one goes, which is kind of funny. We'll come back to you, my man. I think you're the one who goes there. No. No, definitely that one. All right, so I'm going to put one there. And then this one, I'm just going to use glue dots for these. This one I might end up putting here. Now, if I'm going to take this here, which is true, I'm going to, then I don't want to go, probably need to take that down first. I also wanted to show you how you could use the Christmas paper for a non-Christmas purpose, because although this suite will be available during the Christmas time, you might have some of this paper left over when all of this is over. So I think I want to put a little birdie like up here. And so because of that, I might go ahead and put a few of these up top. Hey, Jill. You were born an old person. That's funny, Lynn. You know, people used to say that about me, that, well, I was an only child. I was definitely responsible and whatnot. But so we're going to put a few of these down below, and then we're going to put a few of these up top. And we'll just use some of the bigger ones. I don't really feel the need to like keep them one way or the other. And I'm hoping that this just gives you guys an idea of what you can do, and that this gives you a launching point for thinking about, you know, well, how would I use that kind of ivy looking die? You know, what does that, you know, what would I want to do? I'd like to put one or two more back in the holes that they came from. I'm not sure that I'll be able to match them up correctly, which is kind of funny. Oh, looks pretty good. I just like the leaves because they have the embossing on them, and I don't know if I'll be able to get them to focus well enough. Oh yeah, there they go. Yeah. So I just think they're really cute and completely worthy of putting on a card. All right. So since I'm going to put a little birdie over here, I'm definitely going to leave that. Like I'm going to leave a little spot for him. And then I'll probably put the sentiment down below. So I've added this piece here, and I'm going to find my scissors. And so I'll just trim this away. Great, so now we've got that. And then I'd like to mount this on a piece of DSP, or the piece of the shaded spruce, to kind of pull the green out. So I'm going to cut a piece of shaded spruce. So that was 4, so we'll do 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Because I just want to give it just a teensy hint of shaded spruce. And then I see like a piece of the white sticking out here, the shimmery white from where we were doing all sorts of crazy things back behind it. So you could do this technique with anything, right? You could use watercolor pencils, you could use the blender markers, you could use regular markers, but you could basically layer a bunch of colors, scribble, do whatever it is you want to do, and then you know, you can add that piece, that ivy piece on top. Okay. So let's find the stamp set, and let's cut a couple of birdies out. And then the other piece that you can do for, which sentiment do I like? Thinking of you, wishing you the happiest of birthdays. I can never have too many birthday cards. So we're going to pull that out. I'm going to show you that. And then I really like the little, this one, the one who's kind of sitting, but I also like the one who's chirping. So we'll do the one who's in mid-song. I almost chased a little bird that looked just like this today around our yard. So, all right, now in this case, I'm going to stamp him in Memento because I want to color him in. Super cute. And then I'm going to use just a little bit of shaded spruce. And who says your birdies have to be realistic, right? Your birdies don't have to be realistic. I'm going to use some crumb cake on their wings. And then I'm going to use, actually going to do a little more shaded spruce on his underbelly. Do a little darker crumb cake. And if I don't like him, I will start him over again, right? Oh, he's cute. So I can die cut him out, and then I can put him up here in the corner. And then what I'll do with the sentiment is I'll do the same thing with this edgelet die. So I'll cut a piece out that follows the curve. And then I will, I think we can probably curve it a little bit more. And then I'll flip it and I'll do the same thing on the other side. So I kind of want to get a curve that works for both the top and the bottom. So you can kind of stick it on your work surface and then pick it up with a block. And then we'll stamp that, probably in Memento. What I'm hoping is that I can die cut basically a banner, top and bottom. But we'll find out. So I'm going to, I'll post a link so that you guys can see what we end up making in the end. But I'll definitely post a link so that you can see that. Carolina Wren. Isn't that, this is what I thought of. I know. I was just thinking about that. And that's who I saw out at my yard this morning. So I promise I didn't chase her, but I might have scared her just a little bit. So I'll die cut these pieces out. I will post the final photo of the final project we make. Oh, and then I have to show you. the exploding box. So if you were on at the beginning, you heard me say that Marion really wanted to tackle the exploding box, and I was a little nervous because I had never done one before. And then we found some really great measurements. And so with old designer series paper, retired paper, just for Halloween, here we go. You ready? And then this one opens, and then look at that. Isn't it cute? I'll post a link. It was on scrapbook.com. It was a really nice chart that showed you the measurements to make each of the boxes and then to make each of the little lids. It's definitely smart to use your old designer series paper, or you can buy some designer series paper on the sale. I'd love to have you as a customer, and please let me know if you're interested in making a purchase or coming to my class in November. A few people who are on here come to my classes. They know they're so much fun, and I put a lot of care and love into the design for each one of them. And I hope that you'll come, and I hope you'll come back to see how we finish out this really cute card. Have a good night. I'll talk to everyone later, okay? Bye, y'all.